Hey, Heart Nation. Welcome to another episode of I have a great show for you today, and I do apologize for being late.
The alert desk is learning of another
because of some technical issues. Okay, but we're not going to let that stop us today. And I just cannot see. It's a new I don't know, thing they got on YouTube that kind of tripped me up a little bit. So anyway, I'm so sorry. So if you are on here, let me know if you can hear me and see me, and we're just going to get right started. I am not seeing on my end, I am not seeing I'm not seeing me. Are you all seeing me? I don't know if you can see me or not. Let me know if you can see me. And thank you so much for joining. But let me know if you are able to see me in the comments. So let me see if I can see the comments from this view. Okay. Welcome. Come on in the room. Let me know where you're calling from. And put that shout out in there. We are going to have a good discussion today. I'm so excited to talk about this disparities with Black women and, for maternal health for pregnant women. I'm so happy to be talking about this. So just let me know if you can hear and see me and where you are calling from. Okay, let me see where you are calling from. I see one view that's vertical. It's crazy. And then the other view, I think people are on the vertical view because I see more people in that one. I don't know why that is like that. Okay, let me see. If y'all are able to see me, I hope so. It's crazy. Okay. All right. Facebook is okay. Hi, Nisa. Thanks for joining. Facebook looks okay. Hi, Shanice. Thanks for joining. Southside of Chicago. YouTube is half of me. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. I apologize. I hope it's not too bad. Let me see. I hope it's not too bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So today, thank you all so much for joining in. So today we are talking about disparities in pregnancy, and I'm going to kick us off, and we're going to see this. There are two links for YouTube. So if you're on this one or if you're on the other one, it looks like there's two links. One is vertical, up and down, and one is horizontal. I don't know why YouTube added something different. So if you want to try the other YouTube link, you can and see how that looks. But we're also on Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to just dive into this. Okay, here we go. Okay. 1 second.
Tonight, mounting concerns over this video that appears to show Carrie Jones in active labor at Dallas Regional Medical Center in Mesquite, Texas, last week.
Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the Black ones?
Jones's mother posting the video on social media.
I said, can we get her into labor and delivery? She said, no, we have to fill out all this paperwork.
The family alleges hospital staff delayed Jones's care for more than half an hour. In a statement to NBC News, the medical center says in part that we are committed to providing compassionate, high-quality care to every person who comes through our doors, and we are reviewing this situation to understand what occurred. In the U.S., Black women report facing disproportionate levels of unfair treatment in healthcare settings and are 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause than white women. In Crown Point, Indiana, another alarming video. Mercedes Wells says she sought care from Franciscan Health Crown Point Sunday. She says they sent her up to triage, where she labored for 6 hours, and a nurse gave her a checkup.
After she finished, she said, well, if you're not further along and you're not past 3 centimeters in the next 2 hours, then we're going to discharge you.
Wells says she never saw a doctor, and minutes after being discharged, she gave birth in the car. How did it feel after you gave birth? Not at the hospital, but in your car.
I felt like I was put out on the street.
Did you think you could lose them?
I did. And that's
Yes.
that's what
Yes.
that's what messes me up.
Yes. So I'm going to stop sharing. So, hey, everybody, welcome in. So that's what we're talking about today. And I am Carla J, your host. For those of you who don't know me, I am Carla J, podcast host. I am not only your podcast host, but I am also a registered nurse for over 30 years. So anybody who think I don't know what I'm talking about, baby, check my credentials. I am a registered nurse for over 30 years, and I am a doula, okay, a certified birth doula. So when we're talking about these statistics, there's no lies here. It's all the truth, okay? These are true statistics of what happens to Black women. Not all Black women, some Black women, and some white women, some Asian women. The discrimination is rampant, okay? So what we're talking about today, I want to help empower you and your loved ones, okay? So I am a birth doula, and one of the things that I want people to know is that doulas are being covered by health insurance now, state insurance plans, and so, employers and things like that. So if you have any type of insurance, I urge you to check your insurance and see if you have coverage for a doula. Okay, so let's break it down. A doula does not deliver your baby. Okay, that is either going to be your midwife or either it's going to be your OB doctor, someone like that, nurse practitioner, if they have their certification for midwife and everything like that. So, but a doula is going to be the person who helps you in labor, who helps you before labor in your pregnancy journey. Okay. And the reason why it has been shown in statistics that doulas help save lives, help improve health improve health outcomes is because you're checking in with your doula more frequently than your provider. So your provider is only going to see you so many times while you're pregnant, during that trimester, things like that. But your doula, you're going to connect with them. They're going to talk with you more often. And it doesn't matter if it is virtual or in person, as long as you're talking to someone and they're knowing you, they're getting to know you. They see you on the screen if it's virtual. Some of the things that we want to check for when someone is pregnant, especially, and it doesn't matter who you are, what race you are, anything like that. We want to look at your hands to see if they're swollen, your face, see if there's any swelling there, your feet and ankles, okay, because we're looking for preeclampsia. We're looking for the HELP syndrome and different things like that. We want to make sure that you're going to your appointments and getting your testing done, testing for diabetes, gestational diabetes. And if you already have pre-existing conditions, we are going to talk to you about that and encourage you to also get those tests done. Your doula is there to help you identify any symptoms earlier than before your appointment. And this is especially important for people who live in rural areas, okay? So some of the places that have the highest maternal mortality rate, meaning maternal deaths, that is Alabama, It's Mississippi, New Mexico, Georgia. Those places have some of the highest rates of infant and maternal mortality, because sometimes they're a little bit more spread out. Now, this hospital was Indiana and Texas. Okay. So Indiana is, for those of you in the Midwest, in Chicago, we typically say Indiana is a very racist state. Okay. And I'm just putting it out there. That is what a lot of us Black people say. Okay. So if you live in Indiana and you say that's not true, I'm sorry. I don't want to offend you, but that is one of the things that we say. Okay. So that when we're driving through Indiana, we're very careful. We're very careful because you don't want to get stopped there, stopped on the road, stop in a town that you don't know nothing about. No, you don't want to do that. So I'm sorry if you're offended by that information. And then Texas, we already know about Texas. Okay. So what I want to do is help empower you. You can have people with you, but I would encourage you all, even if you don't have a doula going into the hospital with you, if you have a virtual doula, that doula is going to educate you and your family and whoever is going with you to the hospital on your birth plan. What do you want on your birth plan? How are you communicating the information from your birth plan to all of your providers? And you may be seeing 10 providers in your office, because they don't know who's going to be on call, right? So you have to cycle through all of them. And I want to tell you, let every single one of them know what your birth plan is. I have experience with this, okay? It doesn't matter if they're writing it in a chart. You want to let every person you see, every provider, every student, you want to let them know what your birth plan is. And because you might get a different answer from every single provider that you see in that same clinic. Okay. You want to know about what do they have at the hospital, where the entrances are for OB emergency rooms. Okay. Emergencies. Where do you enter in? And you want to go check these out yourself. You want to drive to the location and you actually want to go in and see and what that whole triage process is. Okay. You also want to have your papers with you on what your birth plan is. Okay. So every time you see your provider, you're giving them this information. You also want to try and tour the facility that you're going to. Now, some people may not pick a certain hospital because they say I can go anywhere. So I might just show up in any hospital, but I just encourage you to really try to select a hospital that you're interested in so that you can visit them, you can tour them, you know the layout of the hospital, you know the visiting hours, you know if they have COVID restrictions, you know if they have restrictions for how many people should be in the room, in the labor room with you. Some hospitals have a different section for laboring, when you're going through active labor, and then they may have a separate room for where you go to deliver. And each one of those rooms may have a different set of visiting requirements. Okay. So you want to know that some hospitals don't allow doulas. Okay. Some do. So that's why it's important that you want to build your birthing plan on where you want to go, and so that you know the layout of the land for that hospital and the rules. And I also want to tell you, sometimes the rules may change. Okay. Sometimes if it's an outbreak going on, or if people are sick, like with COVID or the flu, they may actually limit visitors. Okay. You want to ask them about that too. They may actually say, we're only going to let one person in the room. So you want to have your plan. In your birthing plan, what you want to do is outline what you want. And then if the in-case scenarios, you and your doula, your midwife, your OB provider, going over these things. What if they say this? What am I going to do? You also want to have that space filled out of where you're going to go for your delivery. You also want to have different things in there. If you want to save your placenta, there's a big thing now about placenta encapsulation or placenta art, and you might want to save your placenta. Well, have it on your birth plan and ask every single provider. Tell them that you want to save the placenta. And even when you get to the hospital, let them know when you get there, you want to save your placenta, because there are different rules. every provider that you may see in that clinic may say, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can save your placenta. But once you get in that hospital, in the labor and delivery room, they may say, you need your own cooler. You need your own ice. You need your own way of saving this placenta, because we're not going to do it. A lot of the hospitals I have been at, they actually have had great nursing staff, and they have given plastic bags. They have marked it and labeled it on the bag, put a label on it, given the ice for the cooler. But I'm here to tell you, everywhere may not be like that. So you got to plan. You want to have what the restaurants call a runner. Okay. So in case you get into that hospital and they say, no, you can't do it like that, you need to have somebody on the outside that can go get that ice, get that cooler, get whatever you need in order to save your placenta. Okay. Thank you, Shanice. I like that you said you told your birthing plan to every new doctor you saw at your visits. And Juancetta says, great info. Thanks, Juancetta. Sandra, thank you for saying excellent information. Shanice also said the doctors were not happy when she brought her own cooler and ice for the placenta. So these are things that you have to be prepared for, because the information you get can vary and vary. And I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Okay. So these are the things you want to have on your birthing plan. You don't want to wait. You don't want to say, oh, well, I told my doctor, at the clinic, and they said I was going to have X, Y, and Z. You can't depend on that. You have to advocate for yourself in the hospital. Okay. The second thing is, I would encourage every pregnant woman to get a doula. Okay. There are different price ranges, and you can interview different doulas. You can interview different doulas to see if they're a good match for you. What is it that you need from your doula? Okay. Everybody's health situation is different. Maybe you have some health issues before you got pregnant, and now they're even more on alert that you're pregnant. You want a doula who is experienced in that, or who at least can help you research those things. Okay. And you want to have your plan. So if I go into hospital early, what do you want to do? Because preeclampsia is real. We don't want to just say, I'm sticking to this birth plan. That's it. I'm having my baby, vaginally. If the doctor is telling you that you need this C-section, it's okay to ask, what is the reason? And if I don't have it, what are the risks? It's okay to ask those things. But that's because you're going to get information. You and your doula, your midwife, you all can decipher that information. Okay. But you want the rationale. Okay. And that'll help you. So before you get to the labor and delivery room, you and your doula, your midwife, your OB doctor should have these conversations. Okay. Doctor, midwife, doula, what if I go into labor early? Okay. At 26 weeks, as opposed to 36 weeks, as opposed to 40 weeks, what could I expect? And they'll tell you X, Y, and Z, so that you can start thinking about it. And if that happens, you'll know what you want to do. Okay. Well, my plan is for me not to have medication for my labor and delivery. I want to labor as long as I can at home. Okay. And then ask them, when should I come in? Even some birthing centers where midwives are doing the delivering, they will tell you come in when your contractions are this far apart, because if they're not, we're going to send you home. All right. If you're not progressing, or if there's no signs and symptoms of imminent labor. Okay. And so for the clip that we saw on TV, on the news, NBC News, the lady in Indiana, she said she was checked by a nurse, and that they said she was 3 centimeters, and they felt the head. She was there. She labored for 6 hours, and there was no progression. Now, I want to let you know that is a common thing, that if you're not progressing, they will send you home. However, this young lady stated that when they did the second exam, she couldn't feel the nurse's fingers. And if you don't know the dynamics of labor and delivery, come on to my doula course, come to my pregnancy empowerment masterclass, and I'll teach you all about it. Okay. But if you do if they're doing the exam and you can't feel the fingers, that means that you are dilating and you are effacing. And that explains why when she got in the car, that delivery happened just like that, because she knew what was happening to her body. But I want to just give a pause right there before I make my next point. Let me just pause right there. Put in the chat if you are new to the channel, or if you are new to knowing about what a doula is and you want to know more. Okay. Let me tell you, take down my information for my website or my email. So my email is info@hearttoheartdoulas.com. That's HEARTTOHEART doulas.com. info@hearttoheartdoulas.com. And we can have a discussion so that you can learn more about it and learn more about my pregnancy empowerment masterclasses and packages. And if you want to go to my website, you go to hearttoheartdoulas.com. That's it. Okay. And if you are new here, just please go and like and subscribe to the channel right now. Right now, just like and subscribe. I talk about different subjects, but this one is, I talk about inspiring subjects, inspiring people, but this one is near and dear to my heart. So I wanted to just go live and talk about this, okay? About the disparities of Black women in maternal health and the mortality rates. People are dying. Yes, all races are dying. Yes, the United States has the highest maternal mortality rate, deaths of any country. The USA has the highest number. That's alarming. That's scary. Okay. And it can happen to anybody. Black women just happen to have the highest number. Okay. So getting back to what we're talking about, if you are dilated and you can't feel the fingers and they can't feel the cervix and things like that, yeah, delivery is imminent. So that's what explains why when she got in the car, boom, they couldn't even make it to the next hospital in time because mama is feeling the urge to push. But I want to just say, just look at how awesome the body is. Women are built to birth, okay? Her body still did what it had to do naturally. And the baby came out and you saw the beautiful baby on the screen, right? So the body is built to do this. You don't have to deliver in a hospital. You can deliver at home. What? Did you know that? Did you know that people are still delivering at home with midwives and doulas and OB doctors? Did you know that? So some of the things that when you want to deliver at home, there's certain criteria that you have to meet. You can't be high risk, meaning that sometimes your doctor will say that you're not high risk. You can deliver at home. I think you can deliver at home safely. And I'll transfer your care over to a midwife, something like that. But you have to be non-high risk most of the time. And then also, if you've had a cesarean section before, then you have to talk about that with that birthing center. Some places do that, and some places don't. Okay, so you have to talk about that with your particular center and your provider. And usually at home, they can't give the spinal, the epidural, right? They can't give that at home because it has to be done by a doctor in the hospital. So when you're electing to have that at home, your delivery at home, those are some things that you should know about, okay? You can have the baby at home in a tub. You've seen the birthing tubs. It's just a beautiful experience. Just go on YouTube and look for some of those home births in the water. And it's just beautiful, okay? So if you're thinking about that and you want to plan for it, get your coins together so you can get that done. But there are some insurances who cover that, okay? And some employers who cover that as well. So in any situation, you want to have your birthing plan together. You want to have an emergency plan together. And if something happens, who you're going to call, okay? What is going to be my decision? What is going to be the bottom line? If I can't talk for myself, who is going to talk for me? You want to have your paperwork together, okay? Who's going to talk for you and make those decisions for you if something happens? Typically, And not everywhere is the same. Not every state is the same. Not every hospital in the same state is the same. Not every doctor is the same. Okay. So these are things you got to have these conversations about. And you got to have the hard conversations, because if something is going on with you, you don't want to be stuck saying, I don't know what to do. Okay. You're going to say, I talked about this with my doula, with my midwife, and I thought about it, and this is what I want to do. Okay. So you want to have those discussions and you want to think about it. Okay. Birth is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, a beautiful miracle. But there are some things that can go wrong or get alarming, and you have to be ready. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Thank you, everyone, for watching, saying, hey, Heart Nation. Jerry, hello from Cape Town. Heartbeats guy, we love you. Keep what you're doing. Thank you. Keep up what you're doing. I love that part. And remember to like and subscribe. So put your questions in the chat. Do you have any questions? So a doula will also help you prepare for your labor. You all saw the woman coming out the wheelchair in that video from NBC. She was coming out the wheelchair, right? She's in active labor. I know some of you may have heard the term that Black women are dramatic. Let me tell you something. I haven't seen nobody, no matter what race, not be dramatic during childbirth. Now, there are different techniques to help you. Everyone doesn't require medication. Some people do it medicine free. If you've done it medication free, put it in the chat. If you know someone who's done it medication free, put it in the chat. You know, but I just want to say, there is nothing that says you have to be medication free. You're not going to get a prize for it. You're not going to get an award for being medication free. It's totally what you want to do. What does your birth journey look like? And you're going to write that in the birth plan, but also have some alternatives. Okay. You can talk about some alternatives. You can talk about having the laughing gas. Did you know that? Did you know you can have some laughing gas in place of pain medicine if you want to just experience that naturally, the labor and delivery, but you want something to take a little bit of the edge off? You can definitely have laughing gas. If you don't want an epidural, which is the spinal, right? You can have something else. You can have IV, so those those are the things that you could talk about. I'm laughing because Shanice says delivery is dramatic. And she said nothing was funny at any point when she had that laughing gas. She said she birthed her baby boy with no epidural and opted into laughing gas that didn't even work, LOL. And just for all who want to know, yes, I was Shanice's doula. And she did amazing, okay? She didn't have medication, but she really, during the delivery, the pregnancy journey, we really talked about those things. And we didn't always agree. We didn't always agree on everything, but she made her own decisions. My goal, and every doula's goal, is not to get you to agree with them or see things their way. It's to get the information, the education, the resources to understand what's happening, to make your own informed decision. At the end of the day, this is your journey and your decision on what you want and what you don't want. So during that, the laboring process, your doula, midwife, provider, they're going to teach you beforehand. Okay. Even no matter how far along you are, you could be 15 weeks, 20 weeks, 30 weeks, 40 weeks when you come to a doula. It doesn't matter. You can still get some of that information that's relevant for you at that time. And going over breathing, going over rebozo methods, going over meditation techniques and strategies. Everyone is different, and you will be amazed at the different types of births that people have. Okay. So that's what your doula will help you with beforehand, help you with these decisions, looking at you, more often and seeing if you're having any of these symptoms. And then during the birth is so beautiful, right? Some places say you can have cameras and you can record. Some places say you can't. So everywhere is different. That's why you got to talk ahead of time and ask. Even when you get to the hospital, they may say, no, we don't care what they told you, but you can't videotape us. You can only have a camera and take some pictures. My goal is for you to know that these things can happen, not to argue with the staff about it or anything like that, because you want a peaceful experience for you. Because when you get upset and tense, whether it's from pain, whether it's from stress, whether it's from arguing with the staff or arguing with the people in the room, that's going to tense your body up and your uterus up. And what you need is relaxation so everything can open and you can deliver your beautiful baby. So those are some of the reasons why. You want to ask if they have a tub in there that you can labor in. Do they have a birthing ball that you can labor in? And can you bring your own? So those are some of the things. And it's not just enough to have someone in the room with you. There are so many stories of women. You saw the stories here. They had their mothers with them. Their mothers were advocating for them. They were saying, so is this how you treat everybody? Or can you do this? Can you do that? They wasn't trying to hear it. Okay. So yes, have someone with you who can advocate for you and who can record. Okay. But also have someone who can speak the lingo of the hospital staff as well. And that's one of the things I pride myself on as being a nurse. No, I can't intervene and do things as I would do as a nurse because I'm acting in a role as a doula. And doulas do not do any medical type of anything. They can't listen to the baby heart tones and listen for that. They can't check your blood pressure, do any of that. They can't check you to see how far you are, how dilated you are. No, they can't do any of that. But they can do some massage. They can help you with breathing. You know, they can help the spouse out or your significant other. They can teach them as well. And they can teach your significant others who's going to be with you the lingo of the hospital. Okay. Because there's certain key words that you can say that they're going to know that, hey, they know what they're talking about. Okay. And it's going to make a difference. I would say it will make a difference to those who it should make a difference or people who want it to make a difference. But they know at that point, you know, a little something and you're not just somebody recording. Okay. So those are the kind of things that make it helpful. Shanice says the big difference from how the doctors treated me when my doula was with me and when she wasn't, having another person who is just as informed and educated and empowering you in the room is powerful. I totally agree. I would have to say every time I showed up at the appointments, they were like, oh, this is your doula. Oh, okay. Yes. It was a difference. And when she went by herself, you know, it was a difference too. So doulas make a difference, y'all. So please try to, you know, get you one. You can contact me again. You can contact me if you just want to talk about it. Learn what is going on in your state with doulas. Every state is different. Some states are reimbursing doulas. Some states are not. Some states, a doctor has to approve you to go to get a doula. Some do not. So it all depends. Okay. So let's take a quick, get your pen and paper. You can email me at info@hearttoheartdoulas.com, or you go to my website, hearttoheartdoulas.com, and then you can just send me an email that way or press on the link to say learn more. Okay. So after the delivery is even as important. Do you want to save your placenta? Do you want to wait until the umbilical cord is cut? All of that goes into your birthing plan. And you want to get that across. You want to have it written down because mom is going through all kinds of things. Her mind is racing. That's why she needs a doula support or a support person there to help her advocate for the things that she wants. Okay. And they'll talk to you about all of that. All right. About, you know, what can and cannot be done. And then the placenta has to be birthed out. Right. So that's a whole nother ball game. There are things that go along with that. So the medication, what you want. And it's important to know that if you are having a home birth and if you change your mind and you say, this is too great, I want medicine, I can't do it. It's okay to say that. And it's okay. That's why you have to be within a certain radius of a hospital. Okay. But I want you to feel empowered that if you change your mind, it's fine. Okay. You can always change your mind. And then after the birth and the delivery, are you going to latch on? Are you going to latch right there? Maybe you don't want to. Maybe you don't want to breastfeed. Maybe you just want skin to skin and maybe you want a bottle. It's your decision. Okay. And they also now have hospitals that are certified in lactation or breastfeeding. So look for those hospitals while you're looking at the hospital where you want to go. They have hospitals now who are trained and certified in breastfeeding support. So all of these things are when you're doing your research or when you're talking to your doula, okay? And then also a critical period is after you deliver, okay? After you deliver is just as equally as important as the time before you're delivering and during delivery. Why? Because your blood pressure can go sky high. You can have heart problems, okay? You can have bleeding problems. That's why it's important to see someone, have someone checking on you, okay? That's saying, she wasn't acting like this just an hour ago. Sepsis, that means infection after your delivery. It can happen at the blink of an eye, at the drop of a dime, for you and your baby or your baby. So it's important that you have someone. Yes, you're going to go to the doctor and see them again, to the hospital, but what about in between time? Okay, a lot of things happen after the delivery of the baby. Okay, so having a doula is important for that. So what are your questions in the chat? Do I have any questions in the chat about delivery, about birth, anything like that? So Kathy 6173, thank you for joining. I agree. I hope it's a lawsuit. Now, my intentions is not for, just to say, oh, people are racist, anything like that. I'm just presenting the facts. The fact is that Blacks have the highest maternal mortality rate. And no, every Black woman that's pregnant is not abusing alcohol, is not abusing drugs, okay? It's not that they're fat already. Those are some of the stereotypes that plague Black women, and they cause implicit bias or unconscious bias when they're in the hospital and when they're going through things like that. You saw it with your own eyes. Now, maybe that nurse treats everyone like that. Maybe it doesn't matter if they're Black, white, Asian, but we saw it from a Black person's eyes, from experience, okay? So that's one of the things that we're saying. These are some of the things that cause that bias, that cause health outcomes to differ, okay? And everyone is not what you think, okay? Everyone is not, doing something wrong during their pregnancy, okay? So I want you to put those questions in there. If you are new to the channel, please know that I do have inspiring guests on every week. And I wanted to just do this because there's been so much talk in the news with these two videos. And as a doula, it just wasn't sitting right with me. I want you all to know that if you get you a doula, you can have a different experience. That's our hope. And if you need help finding a doula, email me, info@hearttoheartdoulas.com. Go to my website, hearttoheartdoulas.com. And also, you want to advocate for yourself, okay? And I was just going to say something else. I lost it. But like and subscribe if you haven't already. And this week, I was just taking a break out. As a nurse, I was equally disappointed. Not even a doula. So let's say this is a nurse and she doesn't know labor and delivery. And, she's just oblivious. It's still unacceptable. We treat people with pain who say they're having pain. We take them at their word unless they're showing you something else. I don't know about you all, but somebody that's in labor, that's time to deliver, they're near their due date, I'm taking them at their word. And that was just shameful. It was disgraceful. Okay. So that's why it's really struck me. As a nurse, I'm just so ashamed. I'm ashamed of that. And as a doula, I'm ashamed of it as well, because we know better. We get training for this. A nurse has more training than a doula, but a nurse is trained on the medical side. A doula is trained on how to help you with comfort measures, how to help you get through that pain, that labor, and you can do it. Okay. So with that being said, I thank you all so much for joining. And I know I went off because I can go on and on about birth work. I love it. I love it. I love it. So please just hit me up in an email or through the website. If you have questions, please pass and share this YouTube video, Facebook video with others, because it truly does make a difference. I want to help. I want to help you empower yourself and advocate for the birth that you want. Okay. All right, Heart Nation. Thank you all so much. Take care and good night.